Hi everyone, this is Kerry from Blue Cat Dev, or I am Blue Cat Dev. I'm not sure. Identity crisis. I want to start making some more videos, so I decided to have a little practice doing a devlog for Thrown In. I guess less of a devlog and more of a review of the process I went through to make Thrown In. So originally started as a uni project. So in second session last year, which is like July to October for us in Australia, I did a Games 1 course. So the first half of the course was analysing an existing game, in which I did Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition because it is amazing. And then the second half of the session was creating a prototype for our own original game design. So I have loved strategy games for a while, so I decided I'm going to make a strategy game. And that's how Thrown In came about. So one of our assignments was to create a game design document. Oh, sorry, game concept document, I should say. Um, so I've called the game Thrown In because it's a bit of a pun there. So Thrown In, every decision counts when you're thrown in the deep end. So the premise of the game is that you suddenly take over as ruler of this, city, town, kingdom, whatever you want to call it, and you have to make decisions as to what to build and when. So it's the scoring system is accumulative. So the sooner you build something, the more points it gets. But at the end of the game, depending on the scenario, not every building is worth the same points. Some might be half, some might be double. So it's uh, it's my first game design. It's what I did. Um, so it's a turn-based city builder. Um, medieval setting. Uh, you get to build like armories and training grounds and markets, castles, barracks, schools, hospitals, siege workshops. So uh, we had to create a physical prototype of it, and this is what my physical prototype looked like. It's a printed out page. So we've got the castle, the market, the school, the tailor, the factory, which is a special building. The factory gives you more action points. Embassy, barracks, siege workshop, hospital, blacksmiths, stables, hunters gatherer lodge, training ground, and the watchtower. Now, with the physical prototype, it had a maximum of 5. So you could put a maximum of 5 uh, actions into a building. I used these little cardboard cutouts for tokens, and you can add a max of 2 per turn. There were scenarios, events, and this was the score sheet, which we use the tallies for. This is a flowchart of the main gameplay loop. You start your turn, you fill in the turn circle, so you can count what turn you're up to. I think I started with 5 turns. You pick up how many tokens you have to use, so whether you start with 1 token or 15 tokens, that's what you have to use. Then you add those to buildings, so no more than 2 per building and a maximum of 5 per building. And then at the end of each turn, you add that score to the score sheet. So if a building already had 2 and now it has 3 tokens on it, you add another 3 points for a total of 5. And then for the random card, the random event card, if it was the end of turn 1, you picked it up. If it, however many turns had passed since you first read it, you could open it and assess the criteria, and then that was the end of the turn. So I had the rules for the setup, important rules, rules of the gameplay, scoring. So that session last year came and went, and over the Australian summer, which is the Christmas time for us, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to make this in Unity. So after doing a Unity tutorial on Udemy, in which I made my other game, Block Runner, I'll do that in a separate video, I went through and I created Thrown in Unity. So I made so many mistakes along the way. I made it in 3D when I should have made it in 2D. I couldn't figure out the screen resolution. I struggled with getting everything working, getting the sound working. Yeah, it was a big process, but I really enjoyed it because I learnt a lot. So before I show you the inside of it, let's just have a quick game. So this is the beautiful music that I got in an asset pack from Unity. I just really enjoyed it, so that's why I picked it. This is the menu music, and then when I click on New Game, it will play a selection out of 3 musics, I think. Alright, so our scenario 0. The previous ruler has just died. As the chosen successor to the throne, you have been coronated and must now take charge of the direction of your people. Having just been a knight working alongside the guards, you know the people desire a healthy, secure, and prosperous living. Now, with the scenarios, I made a point of making them as gender neutral as I could. So, as ruler. So the ruler could be any gender or non-gender. And then the different scenarios, you know, have you starting from different backgrounds. This one, you're the chosen successor. And the scenario itself has clues as to what buildings may be worth points. So in this scenario, the 3 keywords are healthy, secure, and prosperous. So over on this tab here, we've got the instructions. So the factory is a special building. It doesn't increase the score, but increases your total actions by its quantity at the end of each turn, and it has a max of 5. Now, from the prototype to the actual digital version, I've increased the total turns to 7, and I've taken out the max of the buildings except for the factory. I didn't want that to continue to grow. The event tab shows that nothing has started yet. So let's get into it. Now, there's obviously better strategies and less good strategies with the game, and having built it, of course, I know what they are. So we have 1 action for our first turn. So I'm going to put that into the factory, because the factory is a special building and it's going to give us more actions to do later on. So I put my first action in there and then I end my turn. So now I've got 3 actions and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now, another difference from the prototype to the digital version is before it had a maximum of 2 inputs to a building, now it has a maximum of 3. So even though I only had 3 actions, I wouldn't have been able to put more than 3 into a castle, and I wouldn't have been able to put any of the buildings, and especially for the factory because it has a maximum of 5. So we're going to end the turn here, and an event's going to come up. So that's the other difference between the prototype and the digital version, is the event starts at the end of turn 2. So, oops, a misfire of a prototype catapult has injured several of your workers. The responding soldiers applied first aid, but the injured people needed surgery. Oh no, you lost all the injured people. Now, some of the events assess what you've already done. Some of the events give you time to try and meet the goals. This is one that's assessed what you've already done, and I did not meet it, and I'm not going to tell you what you needed to meet it because it's, I mean, you can guess. Alright, so now I have 9 actions. There's a bit of discrepancy here. It's a bit strange. Anyway, turn 3. Now, if we go back to our scenario, our keywords were healthy, secure, and prosperous. So, healthy says to me, you know, hospitals. Secure says, you know, security, defense type thing, and prosperous is like education and wealth. So, let's go 2 points into hospital, 2 points into school, 2 points into market. I'm gonna put 3 into the castle actually. Alright, and now we end our turn. And now we've got 13 actions remaining. So again, I'm going to do 3 into the hospital, 3 into the market, and I'm going to do the barracks. I'm going to do 3 into the watchtower. I might do 1 into the tailor. Now, where the tailor comes into security is that a tailor can make uniforms for your troops. And uniforms are identified, and you know, people can identify who is supposed to be there and who's not, who can you can call for help and who you can't. So I'll put 1 into that and another 1 into the castle. Alright, so we'll end our turn. Now we've got 18 points to spend. So we're going to do market again, so max 3 of that, 3 for the school, 3 for the hospital. We're going to put another 2 into the barracks, 2 in the watchtower, another 2 in the blacks. We'll go do 2 in the blacksmiths because, you know, weapons, shields, and then 3 into the castle. Alright, so we'll end our turn. Now we've got 23 actions that we can do. So this was the important point of maxing the factory out early, because it maxes out the actions that you can do. And the more actions you can do, the more points you put into your buildings. So again, we're going to put our 3 into the hospital, our market, and our school. We're going to put 3 into the blacksmiths. We've got 2 into the training ground, 2 into the castle, 1 in the hunter's lodge. Let's put 3 into the embassy because it's good to have allies, right? And then another 3 into the tailor. So last turn here, and maximum of 28 actions. So we'll go 3 into the hospital, 3 into the school, 3 into the market, and 3 into the castle. Do 3 into the blacksmiths, another 1 for the tailor, 3 for the barracks. We'll go 3 for the training grounds, 3 for the watchtower. Now where the watchtower is secure, like, you know, you've got your scouts in the watchtower looking out and can see threats coming. Put some into the hunter's lodge, and that's our turn. So now we go and turn. So this little prompts come up asking me to rate the game, which I don't want to do at the moment because it's not going to matter because it's run through Unity, not through Google Play. So this game, it was scenario 0 and my score was 532. I did not beat my high score for scenario 5, which was 602. So from here you can start a new game with a random scenario, start with the same scenario, or go back to the main menu. In the main menu we've got the high scores here, and oh, this was so much effort to do, but thank you to Ant from Radio Bush and Beer Squad Gaming for helping me get that through. We've got a tutorial level, so you can start the tutorial level, which is actually level 0, which we just did, or scenario 0. Here you can select a scenario, So you can play a particular scenario. So there's 6 in total, starting with 0. That's just how arrays work, and I couldn't be bothered changing it. In the settings, you can turn music on and off, and the sound effects on and off. So the sound effects is really just the little clicky sound. And in the about page, basically just says a little bit about the game. It's not really still in production. Like I could improve the gameplay a lot more, but I want to finish it so I can, or I have declared it finished so I can move on to my next project. There's a link for the website, Discord, and my YouTube channel, which is where this video is. So that's the game. Now, if we have a look behind the scenes, so in the canvas here, we have multiple screens, buttons that I'm no longer using, so high screen on and off, well, high score screen on and off, tutorial screen on and off, and the different buttons just turn those screens on and off. Now, one of the major problems I had when making this game was the screen resolution. Oh god, it drove me nuts. Like, every time I would release a version, it would work fine on my phone, but, you know, all my friends and family phones, it would just be too big, be too small, overlap, things are cut off, and I was searching for solutions left, right, and center. So, part of the solution was to anchor buttons to certain points. So the new game button is anchored to the bottom left of the screen. But the game changer, and what actually fixed it, was this bit here. So the UI scale mode. I had it on constant pixel size. So this would stay the same constant pixel size no matter what screen. Small screens, big screens, medium screens, any size, we don't judge. What it needed to be with scale with screen size. So once I did that, and I could change the different screen size, it looks good in this. Oh, actually, not landscape. It works in this too. Where if I go back to my standard, if I go to the constant, if I then go to portrait, see? How whack does that look? Everything stays the same physical size and is anchored to the same points, but because the pixel sizes don't change, it then looks wrong. So, scale with screen size. That is so important. Now you see that there's still a little bit of overlap here, so it's not perfect, but pretty good considering this is my very first game. I designed the whole thing myself from concept all the way through the implementation. Didn't do all the art myself. A lot of indie games don't, so that's fine. No, I don't want to save changes. We'll go over to the main game scene. So one of the mistakes that I made at the start, as I said, was to have it as a 3D game instead of 2D game. So I had a background, so you can see the little patch of grass here, and I had the camera pointing, and I had like little boxes with the pictures on, and that would just, warp the view every time the screen size would change. So having it, what I did was I took out everything in the 3D side, except for the green, and I added in these image boxes into the canvas. So that made sure that they were going to be similar resolution for the different screen sizes. So the images I did myself is the castle, the tailor, and the hospital. The rest are free clip art that I got when I was developing the prototype. I really liked those images and I don't particularly want to change them. But the tailor, the castle and the hospital, I had a different mental image of that I wanted to do. So in here we've got our scenario holder. We've got the different castles, buildings, so that holds that UI. In there you've got the image, the text, the quantity, minus and plus button, and the help button. And they've got on-click events as part of the scripts. So that's the building, got the bottom menu bar, and then these are the different panels that come on when different states are met. What else have we got? So scripts, did a few scripts, building control, event control, fade out to black, or the fade screen, which I didn't end up implementing, the game info, which is controlling this stuff up here, high score script, main menu script, the game manager script, sound manager script. So the sound manager script is thanks to Ant at Radio Bush. He helped me with that. So that was very handy. I'll put that on the games manager script, did I? One of the scripts. Yeah, I forget which one I put it on. It's been a couple of weeks since I've worked on it. You know, the girl script for opening up the website, my Discord, and the YouTube. It's a tutorial script. So when you actually do the tutorial level, it'll come up with different prompts, teaching you different aspects of the game. Game Manager has all these game objects which is assigned here, or gets assigned in the start of the script. The event controller, so the scenario holder and whatnot. Everything has all the place. It works. You've seen it. So that's my game. This is thrown in. That's where it all started. My game dev journey. So I am going to do another video on Block Runner, which was the tutorial I did, or the course I did through Udemy. But this is, it's not my baby, but it's the first of many games that I plan on designing. I have a whole big list of game ideas that I've had that I want to develop. As I said, I've declared this finished so I can move on to my next projects. There's two projects that I am working on, the first of which is a match 3 game for my mum. It is going to be called Match 3 Origins, and I'm also going to be remaking the game that I made for my Games 2 subject. So I will talk more about that in another video. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being interested in my journey. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on the rest of the social media crew. I think the link's going to be down there in the description. And most importantly, stay safe and be happy.